It's go time. Right here, the back wagon's not quite half full, I don't suppose, but technically, I guess we started last night. My brother combined some soybean fields down there way down there by his house, which is that right there. There's like 2 fields there, and then there's another field around the bend over by the county road that he combined. So now we're up behind our machine shed combining. There's what is there? I don't know, 10 acres up here. There's not a whole lot. This field kind of goes up around the bend here. He's going to disappear here for a little bit, and then he'll come back around. But and there was a field over there, a little strip. Funny thing about these fields here, I'll give you a little bit of a recap. So on June 22nd of 2013, if you can see here, there's a ditch that runs right there. But that ditch used to come around the corner right there, and it come right over here, basically right about, well, just a ways out here, around, and that went right, kind of right where those corner posts are at, and that pile of brushes, there's a ditch is there. It used to go right through here, and this is the start of what this field would have been, right here, and then the fields across over there would have been twice the size or bigger, and then that field would have been part of what's behind the wagons here. So it was kind of a, I don't know, handle-shaped field a little bit. But on June 23rd, when we got a pile of rain, I think it was 8 inches overnight, or more than that, 12 inches, I even forget. It washed that ditch completely straight down through here, and basically filled in the end of this field completely with garbage. It filled in the ditch. So what we did at that point was we had a dozer in here, and he basically just cleared the field off, filled in the ditches here, and basically we made this field all one big field then, and then that field of there is basically about let's see, what is there, about 15, probably 25 feet wide. It's not very wide. It almost isn't really even worth going over there to get anything off from it, but the ditch or water's pretty low right now, so we can get across. It's not even ankle deep, so it's not a huge deal. So yeah, it was definitely interesting. And then, of course, in the floods all the time yet, and the water still comes in and fills this all in. That dust is crazy. This spring, actually, we had rented a dozer because last fall it flooded right before we chopped corn, and it filled this all in with crap here again. So we took a dozer and we cleared all off of that pile of rubbish right there of trees. It wiped out all the fence. We had to build a new fence from those posts right there all the way down and over around the corner over there. It was just full of garbage. I did have a video, I think, on my YouTube of me actually planting this field with beans this spring. So this would have been the last field we planted of beans. So yeah, we have there's about, I don't know if we have quite 35 acres of beans this year. It's not a lot. We're not a big farm. I'm not gonna try to beat around the bush and say that we're a big farm, but we both work off the farm full time. So I guess this is our getaway, if you can call it that. But he's coming back around here. I see the dust rolling up there. There's another field up beyond this yet. That's it's probably 3 or 4 acres. It isn't big. This field, I think, is 5, maybe 6 now, with this extra little bit here that they got be part of that field over there now. So yeah, and here he comes. That's our TR86. We got that a couple years ago. I think this is actually it's probably our fourth bean crop with it. Possibly we had a TR85 before that. We had bought. and that one had a lot of hours on it, and it kind of basically shook itself to death at the end of it. This one here runs pretty smooth, and it could handle more than a 15-foot bean head, that's for sure, but it takes 6 throws about perfectly. So, and if we got anything bigger than 15 foot, we'd have to take it off when we go through gates, and oh, there's deer right over there. We'd have to take it off when we go through gates and when we go up and down ridge roads. So we just stay with 15 foot, and you can move a little faster combining that way then too, because you're put a little more capacity through the combine that way. Sure is dusty. It's nice and dry. We tested the other night, I think there were just about 12% moisture on the beans, so it's time to get them out. We actually turned off the straw chopper. We're just windrowing right now because hoping anyway, we should be able to finish up tomorrow. I think we're just going to do this a little bit here tonight, and then tomorrow we'll go back. We've got, there's probably 15 acres or so up on our ridge behind our barn that we're going to do. Should be able to finish it up tomorrow pretty easy. And then I'm thinking we're going to rake this stuff up and brown bale it, and maybe get some soybean fodder off of it. If there's any, some people buy it, some people don't. I don't know. We'll bale it up, and if worst case scenario, we'll keep it for ourselves and use it for some bedding. Not that it's real great, but I guess if we can make a few dollars off from it, it would be okay. Might as well take it up the other end of the field here, because he wants to unload before we get to the other field. With a couple of swipes, we'll be done with this one here. This is more of the valley. There, the field's right over there. I'd say there's only probably 3 acres on it. Nothing huge, so. Deer hunting shack there. Can't see that road. There's a road over there. Goes up top of the hill up there. There used to be a field up there years and years and years ago. I don't even remember it ever being a field, but Dad always talked about being some crops up there. But right now it's pretty much full of apples. There's probably 5 acres up there, but it's full of apple trees. You can't even hardly get a 4-wheeler through it, it's so thick. But well, we got her finished up. I'm gonna unload this a little bit here, and I'm not sure, assuming that we're gonna unload a load, because I don't think it's gonna probably fit what's left in this back wagon. So we already have 2 other wagons full on top of these 2, so we'll probably have to go unload one so we can have room to put the last load in tonight. Alright, so we decided that I think we have enough room in the back wagon left to put that rest of the other field in there. So we're gonna attempt, well, he's gonna go over there and open it up, and then I'll drive across, because we gotta go across another ditch. It's still the same ditch that runs down there yet, so he's gonna make her across, and we'll go over there. But I think it should fit between some of the stuff you got to do here in southwest Wisconsin to get 3 or 4 acres of field. Make sure that we blow off that combine every time we get done with it during the day, because last year we thought we were going to lose it. We end up getting combining some soybeans, and I started smelling something burning, and we got looking. Well, here there was a pile of soybean dust that had settled on top of the turbo housing, and it was all embers. So we luckily grabbed a couple of gloves that we had. We ran down to the creek real quick because we were real close to the water, and I'm just gonna stop here. Quenched it a little bit before it lit up all the way, so I had to make sure we keep an eye on that when we're combining, so we don't end up having a, well, flaming combine, I guess. Anyway, yep, this field goes up. You can see it up here. kind of the end of it up there. There's a tree up there a ways that comes back. And we normally don't. There's a knoll right there. We usually plant beans in too because it's real rocky. There's a ravine that comes out of the hill right there that is just rock, and I don't want to take a chance of running a rock into the combine on beans, so we usually plant around it for beans, and then we'll plant corn back into it next year, and then we'll put beans in there after that, and we won't plant anything in it there. So up there on the edge of the head, and outside the field is a little grassy. Pull her up in here now. So the beans lodged a little bit in the bottom here. We plant these a little bit thinner. I think we're running around 125,000 an acre in the bottom, and I think on the ridges we plant like 150 seeds an acre. The reason in the bottom is because it gets a little bit thick, it starts to lodge, which means it falls over. As you can see, it's laying down there. Because in the bottoms, the soil is more fertile, which causes it to grow taller. With beans, yeah, beans are nice to get tall because they get a lot of pods, but they have a tendency to fall over because they get top heavy. And about probably a month ago, when the beans were just starting to turn yellow a little bit, so all the leaves were on them yet. We had got rain finally. First time we had got rain in probably a month, and it rained hard. Rained hard, but for a short time, and then it rained for like a week. Didn't rain a lot, but it just rained like all week. It was just raining, and it ended up they got them heavy because they got water, heavy and saturated, and they kind of fell over. So a little messy in the bottom of the combine, but they seem to be yielding really good. I'm pleasantly surprised with what we got going on here. So hopefully the ridge is good too. I know that that's not as tall, but they should probably yield pretty good up there too. We'll do that tomorrow, so I'll probably have another video, hopefully from inside the combine, unless my brother, takes it away from me tomorrow. But he was combining before I got off of work, so I come out here after work, and he'd already had some of that field done over there, and was just starting on that little field across the ditch there when I showed up. So I suppose I could talk a little bit about the wagons. Not that it's too much, I'm just rambling. Anyway, we got 4 wagons. We got this Kill Brothers. We have an Easy Flow Flow Easy, sorry. And then we have 2 new built, they're called, that are in the machine shed. They're actually full of beans right now from the other fields we had done. I know my dad bought this wagon brand new, guessing probably 35 years ago. He bought 2 brand new Kill Brothers, brand new. One of them had a brand new Corey running gear underneath of it, which we still have that. That's on one of the new built wagons. And the other one was, I believe, a Dacon wagon. I don't remember for sure. I think that excuse me. Anyway, the Kill Brother wagons, we used it to pick ear corn in. They had some sides on it, but they've been welded a few times here and there. We bought the new built ones here a few years ago at consignment auction. And then the Easy Flow, we bought that, or Flow Easy, I keep calling it Easy Flow, but Flow Easy. We bought that one a couple years ago also. We had a wagon go bad. The steering tie rod joint went bad on it, and it destroyed the wagon. It actually destroyed the guardian box too a little bit, and it was one of the Kill Brothers ones. The wagon we ended up using to put underneath of our bean head as our bean head cart, and the wagon we used as a dumpster until we got it full, and then the scrap metal guy took it away. So that's when we bought that big one back there. That one's like 2 1/4 bushel, and the other 3 are like 150 bushel wagons, which is plenty for a wagon around here. You start coming down the ridge road with 150 bushel behind you of beans, it's a little wet, it's a little sketchy. So more stuff. I'm rambling here. He's making hot laps around the bean field. But the tractors, so this is our 1256. We have 6 tractors. We have the 300, we have a 560, we have a 684, we have a 756, we have a 986, then we have the 1256. The 986 and the 684 were bought brand new by our father in 1980. The 756 was bought, I would say, 30 years ago. Dad bought it at Boswell Implement in Boscobel. He wanted another tractor, take some of the work off of the 750 or the 986 and the 684. The 300 was bought used probably in about 1960. I'm not 100% sure if my dad bought it or my grandpa bought it, but it's been here since 1960. The 560, I don't know if anyone's been following our story, but that was originally my dad's tractor years ago, and he actually traded that off for an 856. He had that for 1 year, and then he traded the 856 off for the 986. The 560 never really went too far away, and after it flooded here, now you can see some of the beans are piling up on the outside snoot there, but see with them leaning there, it's kind of hard to pick them up. It's kind of getting a pile underneath there. And he's going to back it up now. Should probably pay more attention to the video than yakking. good enough brother, I just get off the tractor and figure it out for him, clean it out for him. He's got her going now. So anyway, I don't know if I was talking about, oh, the 560. So the guy that come out and did all the bulldozing work for us, back down there I was showing you, and there's various other spots he was cleaning up for us. Come to find out, his dad actually had bought that 560 from Possible Implement when my dad traded it in. So his brother still owned the tractor yet, and we ended up talking to the guy, and we actually had bought, he told us he'd you know, get rid of it if he had another tractor. So we ended up actually buying another 560 gas for him, and he ended up trading us even up for the tractor. So that's kind of the story on that. That's been kind of a work in progress. We've had to do some major transmission and rear end work in it. We broke a bull gear in it not too long after we had it, and then the transmission, all 5 gears for the speeds in it had a chipped tooth or a missing tooth in them, so that's been a little bit of a work. So 6A4, that one is our loader tractor. That thing has been to hell and back. It's definitely it's been bought and paid for several times. So this tractor, if you probably noticed, we've noticed this tractor quite a bit on our YouTube videos with tractor pulling. So this is kind of our tractor pulling tractor and our big tractor, and we cut hay with it and chisel plow with it, we disc with it, haul beans with it, obviously. It's still pretty much stock. This is technically my brother's tractor. He bought this tractor probably 12 or 13 years ago, I'm guessing. And he bought it over by, I believe it was Belmont, from a guy. And we got it home, and it wasn't too long we figured out that the hydraulic pump was bad in it. And that wasn't too long after that, turbo went out of it, and the head gasket was leaking. We've put a couple of clutches in it. Well, the clutches were because of the input shaft, or the rear main seal was leaking on the tractor, and it got oil all over the clutch material and then caused it to slip. And so we ended up having to put a clutch in it. We've had quite a bit of mechanical work done to it. Engine's all stock, turbo stock. The only thing not stock about it is it has the pump has been worked over pretty hard in it. The pump is about as built out as far as it'll go without having to switch heads on the pump and all that. So it runs pretty close to 200 horsepower. We dynoed it right after we got it, and it was running 225. We've had the pump rebuilt since then. We turned it down because it was stupid, and it was hard to actually get it down to like 130 horse. It was so built up. So, but it runs pretty good. You can run it at chopped corn with it. You start pressing it hard though, it starts to get a little warm, so you got to be careful. Cooling capacity on these 56 series was a little bit lacking if you wanted to run higher horsepower out of them. So I know when they went to like the 1066, they put bigger radiators in them. So the 300 and the 560 probably will never leave our possession as long as our hearts are still beating. So the 300 was, that's my little pulling tractor too, if you've probably noticed videos of that on YouTube also. But yeah, that was Dad's big tractor for a lot of years when he first bought the farm from my grandparents, his mom and dad. The little bit of history, I guess, on the farm is, so my dad's grandfather bought this particular 400 acres in 1912, and has been in our family since 1912. Say we've pretty much farmed with red equipment. They did have a Allis-Chalmers B, I believe Dad said it was. I think there was a, I don't even want to know, I can't remember for sure if it was a Case or an Allis-Chalmers, but it was kind of an older, it was a bigger tractor. I don't know what you want to call it, I don't even know the number of it. But I know there's a picture of it in one of our aerial photos of the farm. It's sitting next to the barn, but I can't remember for sure what Dad said it was, if it was a Case or an Allis-Chalmers. I want to say it was Allis-Chalmers. It was like a D or something like that. It was kind of a big, awkward tractor that took 80 acres to turn around with. So, anyway,